Good evening, members of the board.
Hi, Carl.
My name is Carl Irace. I'm an attorney in East Hampton. I represent Defend H2O. I'm here to provide some comments on the Army Corps of Engineers activity today to construct a 3,200-foot-long oceanfront revetment made out of over 14,000 geobags, each weighing 1.7 tons. I'm going to try to keep it brief. I've done a lot of work on this, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
You have your 3 minutes, so.
Okay. This is a story about a bill of false goods. If the town's position is that this was all the Army Corps of Engineers, then the Corps sold the town a bill of false goods. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm here to share some comments from New York State's top expert, Steve Resler. He was the former Deputy Bureau Chief of the Coastal Management Bureau and Section Chief of the Coastal Consistency Review for the New York State Department of State Coastal Management Program. He's also the author of the 2010 Coastal Consistency Review Manual. This is the guy that wrote the book. He's now semi-retired Coastal Resources Specialist, part-time employee of the Department of State's Coastal Management Program. About this project, he writes that he's identified several major mistakes that underlie and, in his opinion, render major flaws in the NEPA and Coastal Zone Management Act assessments, findings, determinations, and related decisions of the United States Army Corps of Engineers and other agencies. These mistakes are not based on professional judgment or agency discretion, but are major mistakes and perhaps misunderstandings of substantive procedural requirements, facts, and declarations of coastal policy derived from statutes, rules, regulations, and judicial case law. The bill of false goods that's been peddled by the Army Corps of Engineers is that this is some sort of soft structure. I don't know what that means, and Mr. Resler can help us clarify that. He says there's no programmatic distinction in the Coastal Management Program and its enforceable policies between hard or soft structures. The only distinction is between non-structures and structures. There's no hard and soft. Either it's a structure or it's not. There are relevant definitions for an erosion protection structure in Article 6 of the New York Code of Rules and Regulations, Part 505.2. That includes structures such as bulkheads, seawalls, revetments, groins, artificial beach nourishment. The definition of structure in subsections 00 defines a structure as any object constructed, installed, or placed in, on, or under land or water. The Corps, these are again Mr. Resler's comments, the Corps describes the project's dune nourishment as involving the construction of a reinforced dune constructed with sand-filled geotextile bags covered with sand. That reinforced dune itself is clearly structural rather than non-structural. Mistaking the reinforced dune for a non-structural measure is a serious mistake in the Corps' consideration of appropriate alternatives. Its analysis of its effects on resources and uses of the area, its analysis of effects on consistency with the state policies and its findings. Those are the mistakes.
Carl, you're going to need to wrap up.
And I'm almost done.
Okay.
Thank you. Please pardon me if I go a little over, but I think I'm on track here. The statutes and the state law are clear. Article 19 and Article 6 provide the definitions.
You argued these points in court, I assume, right?
Yes. Non-structural measures are listed. This doesn't fit. And I just have one thing that I really have to add here about the costs of this. The operation and maintenance of this structure and covering it with, which basically is covering it with sand after average high tides, is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost so much money that the county of 1.4 million people balked at the price and still maintains that it has the ability to walk out or to back out of it. How is the town of 20,000 people going to afford this? You have the power, and it may only be you, because our case is still under review, and the Corps is out there excavating our beach, installing septic rings and steel sheet pile. It takes courage to admit mistake. We ask you to have that courage and comply with the law.
Thank you, Carl.